Namaste, I'm Abhishek and I anchor an organization called the Blue Ribbon Movement. The Blue Ribbon Movement primarily works on building leadership for a better world. We do this through service learning, which combines leadership workshops with community action, projects on gender, projects on civic engagement, particularly through this whole cycle of action, reflection and working with young people using that. I'm going to talk about the fifth space as a theme and how fifth space as an organization, our organization itself being a fifth space, has been valuable to us. I would say that our generation of young people is very different in the sense of each of us having a view, each of us having a voice. I think we are moving away from a time where there was one leader and everybody was following to a time where each of us wants to share our unique flavor. Problems are also getting more complex, so it helps to have a lot of different views. And to me, fifth space is not only a space where it allows for views to come out, but really a solution to the crisis of our times. The crisis of feeling disconnected, the crisis of domination of just certain voices, the crisis of immense complexity that we find around ourselves. So for us, Blue Ribbon itself as a fifth space organization where various voices come in, they are valued, is at one level. But with our projects also, the intention is to start creating those things. Because when we expect young people to come and take charge in the world, typically in families or in colleges, they don't take charge. And so it's an unfair expectation to suddenly have them transform as adults and start running the society. To me, fifth space is a very beautiful transition from institutions where they were the receivers of decisions to slowly start understanding what is it to take decisions, what is it to take decisions jointly and so on. So when I have to talk about the impact of fifth space, I would say there are two parts to it. One is a measurable impact and there's a non-measurable impact. I think I want to talk much more about the non-measurable impact because to me the feel that a fifth space creates, the spirit, the flavor, the joy of belonging, the love that is experienced as a part of being into the fifth space itself is so nourishing that if nothing would come out of it, just the experience of being in a space where you are heard, you are included, itself is priceless. And I've experienced young people wanting to come back only for that experience. However, when we locate a fifth space in a social context, then this space becomes the place where a lot of ideas brew, a lot of understanding of how to dialogue deeply, how to go beyond just voting democracy to understanding concerns, understanding nuances of issues. That starts happening. Now, the actions that come out of it for me, typically for our organization, haven't necessarily been very large scale projects, perhaps because they're not driven by the ambition of just one person. Rather, they have been very unique and beautiful projects, each with its own flavor and each collectively owned. I think when we struggle on how to foster ownership, fifth space is a great answer for building that kind of ownership. So for us, the impact has been of creating very unique experiences and projects that we can stand behind and feel proud of. To me, fifth space seems to be a very primary way of youth workers, a pedagogy in terms of how we learn, a way of organizing, or you can call a theory of change on how we see change happen, and as a space itself, a very necessary buffer between the violence of this society and the expectations. So a space where really somebody can relax, experience and find themselves. So to me, it's a very powerful tool at multiple levels, which if deployed well, if held well, has a really huge transformation potential for the world.